Hello children, welcome to Science with Sabi. First of all, a very happy new year to all of you. I really wish from the bottom of my heart that this year 2021 becomes a year of hope and victory in the lives of each one of us. So study hard, focus more, concentrate on your goals and strive for it, okay, with lot of confidence and complete belief in yourself. So let's begin. I have started the topic of transportation, which is there in class 10, lesson number 6, life process. I am taking this topic from last two videos. I have already discussed blood, its components. We talked about the blood vessels. Again, we talked about the different kind of circulation, closed and open, single circulation, double circulation, and also how the heart has undergone evolutionary changes right from fishes to mammals. So everything has been discussed in the two videos which I have posted already. You will get the link in the description box, so please go and look at those videos. And in today's video, it is a very important topic which I'm going to take, and that is the structure of human heart. Okay, so let's start with the structure of the human heart. So as we have already studied that human beings have a closed circulatory system, that is the blood is flowing in the blood vessel, which is a closed circulatory system, and we also have a double circulation, that is pulmonary circulation and systemic circulation, that has been discussed in the last video already. So I'm not going to talk about it again. I'm just going to move forward. So let's first talk about the position of the heart. So the heart is present in the thoracic cavity between the lungs, and it is slightly tilted towards the left lung, and that is why the left lung is smaller in size as compared to the right lung. And the size of the heart is like that of a clenched fist. Okay, if I clench my fist like this is the size of the human heart. The heart has very important functions. Number one, it is pumping blood, and this blood is carrying everything in our body is being carried by the blood, like the oxygen, nutrients, hormones. Every kind of transportation in the body in and out is going through the blood, which is pumped by the heart. So this is a very, very important function, and that is why the heart is a vital organ of the body. Very, very important organ of the body. The heart also maintains a constant blood pressure in our body, which is also a very, very important function. Now, as we have already studied that there are different kind of circulation, and our heart undergoes double circulation. That is, one circuit is supplying the blood to different parts of the body, which forms the systemic circulation, and another one is bringing the blood from the lungs to the heart, and that forms the pulmonary circulation. Okay, so systemic and pulmonary circulation are the two kind of circulation in which the heart is involved. But there is again a third kind of circulation also which is going on, and that is I'm going to discuss now, and that is the coronary circulation. Okay, coronary circulation. Now, as we know that all the body parts, body organs require the oxygen containing blood, oxygen rich blood, which we call as oxygenated blood, because this oxygen is needed by the cells for cellular respiration. We have already covered this topic when I discussed respiration from this same chapter, lesson number 6. Please go to the description box and go through the video where cellular respiration is explained, which says that how this oxygen is used up by the cell to produce energy. Okay, so the cells and of different parts of the body require oxygen so that they can produce energy. So heart is also an organ. Heart also requires oxygen, okay, for the cells to, carry out the life process to produce energy. So what happens in coronary circulation is a circulation which is supplying the blood, oxygen containing blood, to the heart muscle. The heart is a muscular organ. It is made up of muscles. So heart muscles also require oxygen containing blood, and this is fulfilled by the coronary circulation. Now the coronary arteries carry the oxygenated blood to the heart muscles. The heart muscles use this oxygen from the blood, and after using, they give the carbon dioxide back to the blood. Okay, so the blood becomes deoxygenated. That is, carbon dioxide is there in the blood now. So this deoxygenated blood is carried by the coronary veins. Coronary veins from the heart muscles, and these coronary veins pour down all the deoxygenated blood into a cup-shaped organ, which is coronary sinus. This coronary sinus is present in the right auricle. Okay, it is present in the right auricle. So this is a third kind of circulation, that is coronary circulation. This circulation is providing the blood, it is supplying the blood to the heart muscles, carrying the deoxygenated blood from the heart muscles and pouring it again into the right atrium from where, okay, this carbon dioxide containing blood will be removed. Now, do you know when there is a blockage in this coronary artery, okay, when there is the coronary artery is blocked because of some reasons, then we get a heart attack. So when we say that the person has got a heart attack, why a heart attack happens? Because the coronary arteries get blocked, and because of these blockage of coronary arteries, the oxygen containing blood cannot reach the heart muscles, and then we say that the person has got a heart attack. So this coronary circulation is also very, very important. Okay, so with this I will move to the structure of the heart. In the structure of the heart, we will first learn about the pericardium. Pericardium is the outermost covering of the heart. Heart is a muscular organ. It is a very important organ, and it's very important that the heart is taken care of from injury, from any kind of shock. For this, the heart is covered by a membrane which is called the pericardium. Okay, pericardium. This pericardium is a double layer membrane. There is an inner membrane and there is an outer membrane. Now, between these two membranes which form the pericardium, there is a pericardial cavity. Cavity means an open space. There is a pericardial cavity. And this pericardial cavity contains a fluid which is called the pericardial fluid. Okay, it contains the pericardial fluid. And this pericardial fluid plays a very important role because it acts as a lubricant and protects the heart from any kind of injuries and shock. Now, if we see this pericardium in a magnified view, you will see that the pericardium is made up of three layers, okay? The outermost layer is the epicardium, then is the myocardium, and then is the endocardium. Now, this epi and endocardium are thin transparent layers and they are made up of connective tissue. The most important is the myocardium, okay? The most important is the myocardium. This myocardium is the muscular tissue. It is made up of the muscle cells, and 95% of the heart muscle is the myocardium. And this myocardium is basically mainly responsible for the pumping action of the heart. So after completing the position of heart, the size of the heart, the three kind of circulation the heart is involved in, the pulmonary, systemic and coronary circulation, and also after talking about the pericardium, the outermost protective covering of the heart, and now I will take up the chambers of the heart. Now, as we know that our heart is four-chambered. How it has evolved, that also we discussed in the last video. From two chambers in fishes, we have evolved, undergone changes and reached up to a four-chambered heart in the human beings. Okay, four-chambered heart. All the birds and mammals have the four-chambered heart. So we have the two upper chambers which are the atrium. We have two atrium in the top as you see in the figure, and there are two ventricles in the bottom. So two atrium in the top and two ventricles in the bottom. Now if you look at the structure of the atrium and the ventricle, you find a difference, okay? And it completely depends upon the function they play. So atrium is comparatively thinner, it is smaller than the ventricles because the atrium is receiving the blood. The atrium receives the blood. So it is little bit thinner, it is smaller in size, and the walls, it is less muscular. But the ventricles are pumping the blood. So the ventricles, because it has a more important function to do, it is more muscular, it is thicker, and also it is larger. Okay, so this is the difference in the size and the layers of the atrium and the ventricle. The second important part is that in human heart, the oxygenated blood and the deoxygenated blood, they do not mix up. There is no mixing of the oxygen and carbon dioxide containing blood. Okay, they are completely kept separate, which is a very unique feature of aves and mammals which have a four-chambered heart. In fishes, there were only two chambers. So there was a mixing of oxygenated and deoxygenated blood in the heart. The same was there in the amphibians. The same was there in the reptiles, because in reptiles the ventricle was not completely divided. Still some mixing was there. But in aves and mammals, we have a completely divided ventricle, four chambers, and the two halves of the heart, okay, the mixing of the blood doesn't take place. So this is a very important which you should remember, and also you remember that the left side of the heart always has oxygen containing blood, oxygenated blood, and the oxygenated blood is always shown by red color. In any of the diagram you will see the oxygen containing blood is shown by the red color, and the right side of the heart always has deoxygenated blood, and it is always shown by a blue color. So get it very, very clear. The left side of the heart always has oxygen containing blood, oxygenated blood, which is shown in a red color, and the right side of the heart always has deoxygenated blood or blood containing carbon dioxide, which is always shown in blue color. And these both parts are separated by each other. There should be something which is separating them, which is not allowing the mixing of the blood to take place, and they are separated by a wall of muscle which is called the septum. Okay, so they are separated by a wall of muscle which is called the septum. So I hope this is clear to you. We have 4-chambered heart, 2 atrium, 2 ventricle. The atrium always receives the blood. The ventricle pump the blood. So the ventricular walls are thicker than as compared to the atrium. Left side of the heart always receives, the oxygen containing blood, which is shown always in red color. And the right side of the heart always has deoxygenated blood, and it is always shown in the blue color. Okay, and they are separated by a wall of muscle which is called the septum. Now let's see in detail how the blood reaches to different parts, from where it comes and where it goes. So now it is a very important part it is going to start now. So now be very, very focused and understand. First, we will start with the right side of the heart, which receives deoxygenated blood. So first of all, the deoxygenated blood from all parts of the body. From where the deoxygenated blood will come, where the deoxygenated blood has been created. It has been created in all parts of the body. Okay, so from all parts of the body, the deoxygenated blood enters the right atrium. Look at the figure very, very carefully. It enters the right atrium by 3 veins. Okay, by 3 veins, it is blood vessels. It comes here. They are the inferior vena cava, superior vena cava, and the coronary sinus. I'm going to talk about it now. So 3 blood vessels are bringing deoxygenated blood to the right atrium. They are superior vena cava, which brings the blood from the upper half of the body. Inferior vena cava, which brings the blood from the lower part of the body. And coronary sinus, if you remember, while discussing coronary circulation, it is having the blood from the coronary veins, which has come from the heart muscles. Okay, so just rewind afterwards when you see it second time, and again see it if you have not understood. So the right side is receiving the blood from these 3 vessels. When I say that superior vena cava is bringing from the upper part of the body, means from the organs above the thoracic cavity. Above the thoracic cavity, that is the upper part of the body, from the brain, from the lungs and other parts of the body. And inferior vena cava bringing from the lower part of the body, that means it is bringing from the part organs and which are below the thoracic cavity. So these 3 vessels pour down the deoxygenated blood into the right atrium. Okay, so when the blood is pouring, the atrium relaxes. Okay, the atrium expands, and then what will happen from there? The atrium will pour the blood. Okay, it will pour the blood into the right ventricle, because that is the only way through which it can go. Although the right atrium and between the right ventricle also there is a septum. Okay, there is a septum, so that the blood is not mixing up. Okay, and there is a very important valve. Okay, there is a very important valve. We have learned about these valves earlier also. Okay, we named it as sphincters when we were doing nutrition. You remember there were sphincters in the stomach also, it was there in the intestine also, it was there. It does not allow the backward flow of things. So valves in the heart also has a very important function. They allow only the unidirectional flow of the blood. That is only in one direction the blood will flow, so that the blood does not go backwards. So same way, between the right atrium and the right ventricle there is a valve. Okay, again in the left side also, in between the left atrium and the left ventricle also there is a valve. So these 2 valves which are present between the atrium and the ventricle on both the sides of the heart, they are also called as a AV valve. Okay, they are AV valve, atrioventricular valve. Atrioventricular valve or the AV valve. From the name only it's clear, atrioventricular means between the atrium and the ventricle. So and now I'm talking only about the right side. So in the right side, between the right atrium and the right ventricle, the AV valve which is present is called the tricuspid valve. It is called the tricuspid valve. I'll give you a small hint to remember, because when I was a student, I used to get confused between tricuspid and the other one which is there in the left side. Okay, So there's a trick that right side has RI in it and tricuspid also has a RI in it. So learn it in this way, that tricuspid is there in the right side. It is a right AV valve that is between the right atrium and the right ventricle. So the blood from the right atrium pours down into the right ventricle through this tricuspid valve. Okay, so when the blood is completely full in the atrium, then the tricuspid valve will open. It will allow the blood to come in the right ventricle and it will close. It will not allow the backward flow. This is the function of the valves. So this tricuspid valve closes up and now the ventricle is full of deoxygenated blood. Now tell me one thing with your common sense. Now where should this deoxygenated blood go? This carbon dioxide containing blood, where should it go? We want to remove it from the body. Which organ will help us in removing this carbon dioxide? Yes, it is the lungs. The lungs will help us to remove this carbon dioxide. So now it will go from the right ventricle. It will be pumped through the pulmonary artery. Okay, pulmonary artery, and it will go and reach both the lungs. The pulmonary artery will break up into two branches, the right artery and the left artery, and it will go and take this deoxygenated blood into the lungs. So whenever you find a term pulmonary, always connect it with the lungs. Pulmonary means something which is related with the lungs. When you are talking about pulmonary artery, it means it is taking the deoxygenated blood to the lungs. Even a lung specialist is called a pulmonologist. Okay, so pulmonary is anything which is related with the lung is the pulmonary. Even in pulmonary circulation, when we are doing double circulation, pulmonary circulation, that is the blood supply connected with the lungs. So what is happening from the right ventricle through the pulmonary artery? Now between this right ventricle and the pulmonary artery, the opening, there is again another kind of valve which is called the semilunar valve. So there are two valves in the heart. One is the AV valve, atrioventricular, between the atrium and the ventricles, and another kind of valve is called the semilunar valve, which is between the ventricle and the blood vessel which is carrying the blood from it. In case of the right side, which semilunar valve is there? It is a pulmonary valve. Okay, so the pulmonary valve is there, which is carrying, which opens up and allows the deoxygenated blood to enter the pulmonary artery. From there, it will go and take this deoxygenated blood to the lungs. Now, a very, very important thing. You must be thinking why I am talking that pulmonary artery is carrying. Artery always carries oxygenated blood. But here, this is the only exception. This is the only exception. Pulmonary artery is the only artery in our body which carries deoxygenated blood. So remember this. This is a very important question from exam point of view also. It is pulmonary artery which is carrying the deoxygenated blood from the right ventricle and takes it to the lungs. This is the only exception in the arteries. Okay. So now once the carbon dioxide containing blood has reached the lungs, now what will happen in the lungs? There the exchange of gases will take place in the alveolus. Go through the cellular respiration chapter. Okay, go to the video and find out that if you have not understood that topic. So in the lungs, the exchange of gases takes place in the alveoli. The carbon dioxide which has come from the heart will be given back. It will be exhaled. When we will exhale, the carbon dioxide will come out and it will take up the oxygen. So now the blood has become oxygenated. It is full of oxygen. Now this oxygenated blood will again come back to the left side of the heart. It enters the left atrium through which blood vessel? It enters through the pulmonary vein. Again an exception. Veins carry deoxygenated blood, but here again an exception is there that this pulmonary vein is bringing oxygenated blood from the lungs to the left atrium. There are 4 pulmonary veins, 2 from each lung, 2 from right lung, 2 from left lung. They come, pour down the oxygen containing blood to the left atrium. So the left atrium is full of oxygen containing blood. Again, between the left atrium and the left ventricle, there will be an AV valve. Remember, atrioventricular valve. So which AV valve is there? This is the bicuspid valve. In the right side, RIGHT, right, and TRICUSPID, tricuspid. Remember, right? Tri. Right side, we had tricuspid. And in the left side, which AV valve we have? It is the bicuspid. And another name of bicuspid is also the mitral valve. Okay, this comes in exams most of the time. So remember, bicuspid or the mitral valve. It is an AV valve which is present between the left atrium and the right ventricle. So through this bicuspid or the mitral valve, the oxygen containing blood will enter the left ventricle. So the left ventricle is full of oxygenated blood. Now from where this oxygen containing blood should go? With your common sense, you can make out now that since oxygen is needed by the body parts, it should go to the body parts. So just imagine the left ventricle has to do the most powerful work. It has to pump blood to all parts of the body. So the left ventricle is the more muscular. It has more tough walls, okay, thicker walls. The most thickest wall of all the four chamber, it is the left ventricle, because it has to pump blood to all parts of the body. So the blood vessel which will carry oxygen containing blood from the left ventricle to all parts of the body is the aorta. So this aorta carries and then branches and carries oxygen containing blood to all parts of the body. And the way we had a semilunar valve there, okay, in the right side between the right ventricle and the opening of the pulmonary artery, okay, in the same way here also between the left ventricle and the aorta, there is again a valve which is called the aortic valve. So these valves play a very important role. Just imagine if the valves were not there. The blood will go down, come up, all direction, bidirectional flow, and again that mixing would have happened. Why the mixing is not happening? Because the septum is separating both sides of the heart. The valves are there which are not allowing the backward flow of heart, which keeps the working and functioning of the heart intact in our body. So these valves play a very important role. So now this from the left side, oxygen containing blood will go to different parts of the body. Again, in different parts of the body, the oxygen will be used up in cellular respiration, carbon dioxide will be liberated. From there, again, it will be carried by the inferior and superior vena cava, it will reach the right side. So this cycle is going on and on and on, okay? So this understanding of this is very, very important. So take it very, very simply. First, understand the pulmonary and systemic circulation. That is why I discussed about the double circulation before talking about heart. You should know that where the heart stands and what is the heart do. And this is very, very important. This knowledge of, the blood circulation in heart, the structure of heart is very, very important. So I have taken this topic exclusively in today's class. And before this class, I have taken those topics in the second video only because so that this portion is clear to you. So I really hope that the entire topic is completely clear to you, children. Do give me your feedbacks in the comment box. It will really help me in improving myself more and more in doing things, where I am lacking. I really want to improve, and your feedbacks will help me a lot in doing that. So thank you so much for watching it, for liking it, and please share with more and more of your friends so that they also get benefited by what I am doing. Thank you so much. In the next part, I will be taking up lymphatic system, a little talk on the lymph. That is because you should know that also. And after that, I will also talk about the transportation in plants and finish this topic. So thank you so much, children, for watching me, okay, for motivating me and encouraging me every day. Your motivation, encouragement really keeps me rocking and going and continuing my venture, which I started around 2 months before, okay. So thank you so much. It really means a lot. So children, keep learning, keep exploring, and I will meet you in the next video and we will finish up this topic, and then we are going to explore a new chapter in class 10 science. So take care. Bye bye.